a lot of what we've seen is stemming from not Shedeur Sanders and what he does, because he doesn't do anything. Stems from the fact that people somehow have this unhealthy fixation with Coach Prime. Coach Prime screwed him. Coach Prime was the one that Coach Prime was the one that brought it all down, G. Bush. Coach Prime was the one who amped him up. He overplayed his cards. He did all this other stuff. Stop playing around. So what I had to do is I had to say, I'm going to do a deep dive. Now, this ain't for everybody. If you sensitive, if you're a person that likes propaganda, this might be the time you get. I'm going to give you 3 to 5 seconds to just, going out, take a restroom break, get you some coffee, come on back in, and we'll be halfway done between then. All right? Y'all ready? Here we go. Couple more seconds. All right, here we go. Now, this is for the real ones. Let's get to it. We're trying to figure out what's going on and why people are just abject, don't like Coach Prime. I got a video for you, a little montage. I like audio visual stuff. I got a nice little montage about why it is that Coach Prime is disliked. Because I think this is the root cause of why that we give Shedeur Sanders so much grief. Let's check it out.
I see a lot of people celebrating.
Okay, and let me give this guy credit. I was on the internet and make sure you go see Doc's Diatribe. He's on Twitter. He has a YouTube channel, Doc's Diatribe. I took this because it inspired this conversation that I'm doing right now when I saw it. Because I am like him. I was confused. We watch Colorado every single day. I watch every Colorado game, every Jackson State game. My father went to a HBCU, and we watch all the Prime's game, not because we watch Prime, we watch Shiloh, we watch Shedeur. We've been watching them forever, right? So the way I thought about and the way I'm thinking about Coach Prime is completely different from what the regular, like other people I started seeing. And I kept asking myself, why is it that people act this way? So Doc's Diatribe, this guy, he eloquently puts it out there. And then we'll do a little research, and I'll do the research that I did to show you why it is I think people react to Coach Prime the way he does. But listen to this as he sets this up.
I see a lot of people celebrating the fact that Coach Prime in Colorado is getting beat. And they're getting beaten pretty bad by Oregon today. And the fact of the matter is Oregon is a better team. Colorado has done some great things so far the early part of this season, but they don't have the players that Oregon has. They don't have the players that a lot of these top programs have. And I don't care who you are, anybody that takes over a team that only won one game, you can only expect so much. And not making excuses. But the fact, I know why a lot of people hate Dillon and want to see him fail. But my question is, who has he offended? He walks with confidence. He's unapologetically him. He instills confidence and values into his players. Hard work, respect, take accountability, how to deal with adversity. This is a good lesson in how to deal with adversity because it's going to happen. But if somebody please help me understand, what has Dillon actually done to make everybody hate him so much? What have his children and his players done to make everybody hate them so much? Because they're utilizing social media to capitalize financially like a lot of people do. A lot of people are on these social media sites trying to get viewers and clicks so they can make money. So his children and himself, Dillon himself, know how to utilize that. And people mad about that? Are his children out here getting in trouble? No. Are they cursing? No. You got coaches for other schools cursing at his children. You got people calling his children devils, and what are they doing? They're actually the opposite of what we see a lot of these stereotypes out here doing. All I see them is being confident. A lot of people are flashy. I mean, I know what it is, but what has Dillon actually done to make everybody hate him? Because it's a lot of people celebrating the fact that they getting beaten by a better Oregon team with better talent. And Colorado's missing their best player, even though Travis Hunter wouldn't have stopped them from losing today. But it's just amazing what we magically melanateds have to deal with. But we built for it. It is what it is.
Colorado hiring Dillon Sanders as its new head coach.
Sometimes we outstay our time at certain places and certain things because we want to leave when we want to leave.
Yeah.
Not when we need to leave.
Were you surprised by the response? Everybody loved your whole life, Prime.
But so many people felt like when Prime Time left, so did that hope. They came to Jackson for Coach Prime.
CNN had a segment, is Dillon Sanders a sellout for leaving an HBCU? People said he sold a dream, then walked out on the dream. He a con man.
This is a program that was 111.
I think we rid ourselves of 70 young men that was not chosen by us.
With maybe 20 conversations like, this ain't it. This ain't gonna work.
The rest of them quit. They quit.
The rest of them quit.
It's prime time in the Mountain Time Zone.
All right, here we go. Let's drill down on this. Let's get to it. Because here's how we're going to approach this. We're going to approach this we're going to do it real eloquently. Now, here's the issue. Some people will say it's the way he came in and the way he got rid of his team. Let me tell you something. The way it works in college football. I played college football before, so just take it from me. Let me teach you guys how it works in college football. When you get a new coach, anytime there's a regime change, let me explain it to you like this. When a president is chosen, right, and a president wins the election, the president has the power and given to him by the Constitution to pick whoever he wants in the Constitution to put in these positions. Now, they have to be confirmed by Congress, right, for these appointments. But FDA, Secretary of State, your chief of staff, over the education department, whoever it is, the president, they serve at the pleasure of the president. That means when there is a regime change, everybody be gone. They go to the private sector, they get a job at a nonprofit, whatever the case may be. Those people are not elected officials. They do have to be confirmed by the Senate. But we always talk about it. Elections have consequences. And guess what? We understand that. You're like, all right, well, I got to go, right? Every regime change happens that way. In college football, it is the exact same thing. When you are recruited by someone in college and that coach either goes somewhere else, it happened to me. When that coach goes, my coach, I was at Ohio University. Coach Jim Grove was our coach. He recruited me. He got a job after my redshirt freshman year to go to Wake Forest. As soon as they said he was going to Wake Forest, I told them I'm transferring. You know why? The person who recruited you is the person that believes in you. The person that recruited you is the person who has the vision for you. The person and the coach that brought you in has the plan for you. The person that recruited you has a history, a track record with you. You know who they are. They know who you are. They know what your skill set is. You know what your skill set is. They know where you want to be used, all the above. But when somebody else comes in, they have a different philosophy. They run a different defense. They may run a different offense. Maybe you are offensive linemen that are smaller because we pass block. But guess what? The new coach came in. We want to run. We want to run the ball 40, 50 times a game. You're 285. That's not going to get it done. Maybe you're a receiver. You throw the ball all over the park. You got 4 wide receivers. You're the third wide receiver. You're getting playing time, you're playing. New coach come in, we're running pro style. We're running with 2 receivers. We're going to replace your job with a tight end. That's what we're going to do. guess what? You're out. You're going to find a different place that best suit yourself. And when Coach Prime came from HBCU to Colorado, it is no different from a coach like Nick Saban, no different from Urban Meyer, no different from any other coach that says, I want my guys in here. And if you were smart, you have a meeting. What happens in those meetings is you go in and you talk to the coach. And by the way, let me explain this to you. Scholarships are not 4 years. Scholarships are 1 year renewable contracts that can be broken at any time. If you don't go to class, they can take your scholarship. It's 1 year renewables. Even if you are doing everything that you should do. Academics, you're playing hard. You just might not be getting playing times because the people ahead of you is better. If they give you a scholarship and somebody else comes out and it's a 5-star recruit, and that guy's a 5-star, and they didn't think they had a chance at him, but he want to go there, guess what's going to happen to you? They're going to come to you and say, look, hey, look, we'll give you your walking papers. We'll give you an endorsement. They'll get on the phone and say, hey, coach, I got a player down here. He's a good kid, really works hard. We just kind of up against it in terms of the number of scholarships that we can give out. We over our minimum. We got another kid that we recruited. We're going to bring him in. He's a great kid. I'll sign for him. I'll vouch for him. That kid then goes to another school and he gets an opportunity to play, right? And the coaches keep relationships like that because of that. That's why I say coaching is a fraternity. There might be some kid that ain't good for you that could go somewhere else and do something. And you get on the phone and you call them. But the whole the premise that I don't like the way he did that people with the 70 guys and that, listen, that's the way it happens all the time. You won't know it because guess what? All you watch is Ohio State. You won't know it. Because a lot of people only watch Ohio State. Like, that's it. You only watch your favorite team. You ain't really that invested. All you know is what recruit we got and how it's moving. You don't care what happened to the dude that was, a 3-star that now is out. That's the way it works. We're breaking it down one by one. But I don't think that's it. So what you got to do is you got to dig deep. You want to find out what people really think about somebody. You got to give them an avenue and a runway to tell the truth. Sometimes when people tell their truth, it's a little uncomfortable because it gives you insight to how people think. And for me, sometimes you got to give people anonymity. Sometimes you got to let them talk behind that little black circle over there. You know what I'd be talking about? Oh, yeah, I was a whistleblower in the government. I saw bad things happening. Why do you think they don't put them on the front page? Why do you think they don't put them on the front page and say, John Smith said X, Y, and Z? Because it's a faux pas. You ain't supposed to be running around here telling people what you really think. But there is a platform for this. It's called Reddit. And I thought this was very interesting. I thought it was interesting because the gentleman, he had a theory about it. I'm going to give you a different theory. If you're standing here right now, 1,300 people, give me a like. I am cooking. I don't think nobody's breaking it down. I'm not tooting my own horn. But I'm giving you a lot of game today. Let's get to it. Let's go ahead and throw this up here. Now, this is a couple of years ago. This is from Reddit. And what I've been doing is I've been trying to drill down and find the correct answer. You heard what his opinion was. By the way, just because he was on the film does not mean that was what my opinion is. I'm just showing you, holding it up to show you what is going on. A person, Swim Threeper, on Reddit, and the reason why Reddit is good is because we don't know who these people are. It's just people typing. And to be honest with you, you're going to get more real people to be real about their true, honest thoughts when they have anonymous content rather than talking with the people in the media. Because the people in the media ain't never going to come out and tell you, say, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. No, you got to be smart to parse through it. So here we go. He says, why does Coach Prime receive so much hate? Now, he starts off by trying to be fair. He says, now, he does also receive a lot of love, but I just want to hear reasoning in the hate logic. For instance, I'd understand Bill Belichick or Greg Popovich hate because from the outside looking in, they don't provide much transparency with the media and just look angry like angry old men. Now the people that have played for those gentlemen would drastically have a different feelings as they know the true coach. Coach Prime, on the other hand, is very transparent. He will let you know what's going on and how he feels. He's never badmouthed any other coaches or take shots. He provides his kids with the confidence to run through a brick wall. He only won. He has only won at every level in his career. Is a positive role model. I just can't see why people would receive hate. That's not to say the man is perfect, but as a coach, he's doing everything you would want someone coaching your child to do. So for the people on the other side of the fence, what's the reasoning? I thought this was very eloquent because I like the way he approaches this, because this is the way I approach my shows. I may disagree with you. I'm not going to beat you up. I may disagree with you, and you can have your opinion, and we can go back and forth, right? I wanted to do this. You need people to be comfortable with what they say and how they move. So let's take a look at this, and we'll get to the next thing. Let me take this down. So we'll go by one of these one by one and see if it resonates with you or not, because I think this boils down to the larger point that I'm going to make, and I'll bring it all home. Let me get that up out of here. Here we go. This guy, Brady Hoaxhead says media coverage. That's pretty much. There are some people who don't like his recruiting practices, team management practices, or they may just have some beef with him as a player historically. But in the end, it comes down to the same reason why people hated Harbaugh, Zion Williamson, Trey Young, Tim Tebow, etc. Any single person that gets so much media coverage that even at an event that has nothing to do with them gets interrupted with talk about them is going to annoy people to the point of heavy dislike or borderline hatred. I think like the fact that people, this is going to be, and I'm going to read through these so that we can get them in concession. But I want you to see the broader theme here. There is no, there it is. There is no smoking gun. There is no, hey, I don't like it because concrete A, B, and C. We'll get to it coming up here as well. All right, let me get this up out of here. All right, let's get to the other one. Because he's basically had to accomplish less than half of what coaches normally would to get the same media coverage. By the way, he's won at every level. He's won in high school. He's won a state championship in one of the most competitive states in Texas. He won in the HBCU. He took a 1-10 team, and he took them to a bowl game in 2 years. He's coached a Heisman Trophy winner in only 3 or 4 years in college. His son won the Johnny O'Brien, or I think it's Johnny Unitas or I think it's Johnny Unitas Award as the best quarterback that is a senior. Let's get to it. He says, and when he does lose, you'll have media personalities go to bat for him, saying things like other coaches helped Dan Lanning prepare for Colorado. If they go to a bowl this year, it'll be a huge accomplishment, but people will still be bitter because they get the level of a hype a team like Michigan or Georgia should be getting. As we can see, there's really no, because people talk about him a lot. I think, is that what we're taking away from it? Let's continue. This might be the most petty. The fact that he calls himself Coach Prime doesn't help. Okay. We're starting to see, we're putting it together. Also, the fact that he's been pretty, you can say the word, I get demonetized, everywhere he's been. This is unequivocally false. He's been bad everywhere he's been. I just told you what he won. He was a selfish player that immortalized business decisions. Okay. He was an adulterous husband and beat his kids. He did the whole Prime Academy thing. He claimed divine intervention led him to save HBCUs, only to abandon them before anything could change. And then he took all of the good players. You should see the things his former players have said and left unsaid since he's left. And then everything at Colorado. It doesn't help that his kids are an extension of him. There you go. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. It doesn't help that his kids are an extension of him. So when they flash blind and compare themselves to Tom Brady after being an FCS quality team in overtime, it grates on people. Okay. Ain't for everybody. I'm just showing you the receipts. Give you the receipts. The media coverage has been unrelenting. He's also showboating and trash talking when it's clearly not appropriate. Just look at Oregon pregame or the quarterback's flex when you barely beat a terrible team. Okay, let's keep it moving. We're almost done with this. I know people, I got to show it. Got to. He's incredibly arrogant, which tends to rub people the wrong way, and pretty much the definition of style over substance. I wouldn't really say he's won at every level. He won a lot of games at Jackson State, but never beat a team that finished in the top 50 in FCS per Massey, and never won the Celebration Bowl despite having a massive talent advantage over HBCU programs. I didn't know people cared about HBCU programs. People are out here feigning like he did the HBCU wrong. How many times did you watch an HBCU? Have you donated to HBCU? Did you go to an HBCU? Do you even know they exist? Can you tell me what countries or states they in? I find it funny that all of a sudden you got the heart for the HBCUs. Let's keep it pushing. One more. I don't hate Prime. Dude may be a little overly confident, but he has the football career to show for it. I do hate how the major networks love constantly divert almost every topic back to Prime. Even in games where he makes no sense at all to talk about Colorado or Prime, they try to gaslight listeners into thinking that being critical of Prime or CU is on par with being racist. Then have the CU team members seem to have sort of a stolen valor mentality. That just because Coach Prime is in the Hall of Fame, that they can act like they're a top 5 team, even though the reality is they just barely won a few games. Listen, so you mad that people believe that they can win games? You mad that people have confidence that they're going to go out and try to win football games? Like shit. The team needs to take it down a notch and just get a necessary rhythm to improve. Again, this is what we're talking about. And you say, G. Bush, what is the point of going through all those quotes? What is the point of doing it? First of all, the point of me doing this is to show you where people actually think so that you can't act like they don't exist. The second part is to go through it line by line so that we can actually try to talk about the difference between somebody hating and the difference between somebody having a problem with their own selves. I think this is more critique about fans and the media and their relationships with players more than anything. Let's continue to keep it going. This is an article that talks about this. It's a little small. I'll read it for you guys. I'll go slowly. This article in 2018 is by Julia Yamate. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but this perfectly encapsulates why it is that there is a wide disconnect between the media and what they pursue, the fans and what they digest, and the narrative that happens with players, right? Let's start here. She goes on to say the perspective of popular athletes by fans is skewed and unhealthy. I think in the beginning, she's making the point that fans, tend to worship players. Fans tend to give them improper due and put them in the spotlight and put them on a pedestal. I agree with that. She then goes on to talk about how it is that she feels about this situation. And I think you can start to see underlying issues here. What really bothers me is how athletes, mostly men, are made out to be rock stars. The best of our society, the best that could ever be. You can get money and attention just for playing your favorite sport. I strongly disagree with this system. Now, here's my point. And this is the reality of the situation. Say what you want. I find it very difficult to agree with people who say this stuff because this country is about capitalism. This is what the American dream is about. right? People stand up, make America great again. This is what the country is about. I don't understand why capitalism is great for all the people that are at the top 1% and being rich. But when it comes to the players that are predominantly minorities, it's a problem. Let me say it again. Why do you have a problem with capitalism only when it comes to people playing sports and that group happens to be predominantly minority? It needs to be said. It happens way too often. What really bothers me is how athletes, mostly men, are made out to be rock stars. You guys do that. They didn't do it. The system did it. The NFL, who have billionaires, created that system, right? The best you can ever be. You can get money and attention just by playing your favorite sport. You can get money and attention by playing video games. You can get money and attention by eating hot dogs at a high rate. You can get money and attention for anything right now in our society. Is that not what we wanted? No one should be put on a pedestal. Stop putting them there. That's up for you to decide. And the ones that get the closest to deserving that type of glorification are the ones fighting for others and putting their lives at risk. Like people who go to third world countries to help dying children. People who actually help others should be getting credit for their work. No offense, but running around with a ball or a puck, whatever your favorite sport is not that big of a deal. Despite everything, I'm not that naive, and I know that sports have become a market that sells. Players are not only athletes, their names become brands, and anything that they touch can be charged 10 times or more. But honestly, this has just gotten out of hand. Society's praise of public figures is unhealthy, and the way that many markets exploit them is wrong. Well, listen, I'm waiting for her to mention the owners. That hasn't come up yet. She seems to have no problem with the 32 billionaire owners who are winning at the highest levels in this country. There's at least one bright spot in the devotion to sports. Many athletes pursue academic careers and to continue playing as a way to reach professional level. In some ways, sports are a way to keep kids in school. Overall, athletes are deserving of a good payment because they work hard. No, that's not the way it works. Capitalism is you are worth what someone is willing to pay. I'm confused. But in my opinion, society thinks about how much they are actually paid, and they are not actual gods. We all know that. I believe we know that. We should know that. That's something that we should understand. They are not gods. They are not paid or so. This has been a longer segment, but I'm bringing it home. Trust me. I'm bringing it home. If you've stayed this long, keep rocking. Here's the landing point. Here is the landing point for me. Give me a second. I'm going to go one by one and tell you what it is and why I think this is a commentary not only on Browns quarterbacks or Coach Prime. It's the way that we consume our media. It's the way that we consume and we talk about sports in general in this country. And it has a lot to do with ourselves and not really athletes. Because I'm actually seeing it more and more. Because when I was younger, I think athletes used to be at a point where there was almost a thin layer between athletes and their admiration into where we are now, where now you see it a lot. And people are more and more bipolar, if I could say that, when it comes to the way they feel about athletes. It's a conundrum. At one point, they admire their athletic ability. They love them because they play for their team. But at the other end, it's almost like they despise them because of their notoriety or the attention that they get or the money they get. And it's just like, I'm confused by it. But I think actually this is a critique on a higher level than just talking about sports. It has to do with the interaction of all three. Let's talk about this. I think there's a big reason, huge reason. Let me see. Let me load these up. Make sure I got it. We're going to make sure I got this stuff. All right. Let's see. Let me see. There we go. I don't want to touch that. I don't want to do that. Let's get to it. Okay. A couple more. One more. All right, here we go. 1,300 people in here. Hit the like button. Hit that like button. So when we talk about it, you heard the conversation. If you hear a bunch of stuff about Prime, a bunch of stuff about this, and a bunch of stuff about this, it says more about us than it says about the athletes. According to Gallup's global poll, indicates that only 15% of workers worldwide are engaged at work, implying that the larger majority, 85%, are unhappy. According to the Staff Squared, CNBC reports that 60% of people feel emotionally detached at work, and 19% also report feeling miserable. When you are, and this is just an awakening. This is something that I went to find because I was confused. And when I do the research. I think when you have people and fans use football or sports as a release, and that release is from their regular lives. I think the honest thing is that most people, when they look at athletes, realize at some point that they'll never make that money, that level of money. They'll never be able to play something that they or work at something that they get extreme joy from. They don't feel attached to what they do. They don't have passion for what they do. And in our country, this is what happens. People are upset. People get upset. And when the game is over, the reality is that 2 hours is a break from saying how miserable they are. And so when you could equate, when you see people on a board say, hey, I don't like the attention that he gets. I don't like that we got to hear about him every 5 seconds. It seems crazy. It seems wild. Let's keep going. It's another critique of our country. It's always going to be a disconnect in our society when we have a bunch of people who are busting their tails and not getting any money, that are busting their tails every single week doing what they need to do to try to put food on the table. And it just seems like the gap is bigger, the gap is bigger, the gap is bigger. And there's a problem because you love your team. You want them to win. But at the end of the day, only 2 inches below that waist, 2 inches below the dirt, when you dig just a little bit, you automatically realize that, man, these kids in the NIL is making millions. The coaches are making millions. The players are getting millions, and they say they want more. We talk about it in 2021. This is a problem. There's a lot of people in our country that are the working poor. 4.1% of the labor force were classified as working poor, meaning they worked or at least 27 weeks, but their income fell below the official poverty line. The figure is roughly 6.6 million people, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The term working poor is something where you got people that are busting their tails every single day to put food on the table. But guess what? It never seems enough. Now, listen, I don't know. This is to the point of the conversation where people will say, oh, well, why are you getting political? This ain't political. This is human nature. We breaking down game here. Would you rather me talk about the NBA playoffs, or you want me to tell you about the people that's really doing it and why there's such angst in the community? This is how I'm moving. I told you this ain't for everybody. We giving facts. 2/3 of voters say the country is on the wrong track. Latest national NBC poll finds 65% of voters say the country is on the wrong track. For the first time since September 22, that figure has dipped below 70%. 70% of people feel like we as a whole are going in the wrong direction. So let's talk about so far what we have. Individuals that don't like their job. Individuals who are getting paid poverty level wages at a job that they don't like. And looking around in the country and seeing things fall apart. I'd say that pretty much consistently adds to why people are angst, why people are salty. Let's continue on. A lot of people don't have any people, and a lot of people are a little upset. According to various studies, around 40 to 50% of marriages are reported to be unhappy. Support systems, down. Support systems, people don't have people to look out for. And I thought this was a big one too. While the precise number of Americans unhappy with their families is difficult to determine, surveys suggest that a significant portion experience unhappiness or estrangement with their family dynamics. Some studies estimate 70 to 80% of families in the U.S. are considered dysfunctional, and a quarter of Americans are estranged from at least one family member. A lot of that information is deep. A lot of that information, it may be heavy. But when I look at the way we interact with our players, where we interact with people, and the way people go about saying how they like people and do things, it's more about what they go through on a daily basis. It's a reflection about the way they feel about their lives. It's a reflection of the way they feel about the country. And it's a reflection about the way they go about doing certain things.